Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, beautiful people. I am not sure. Let's see here. Why my screen looks. There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, beautiful people. Thank you all for joining this wonderful conversation tonight about education and jazz. Education is so near and dear to my heart. As we begin, many districts have already begun school as of today, and some will begin on Monday. And of course, in other states, some will begin in a few weeks. But education is at the heart of everything that we do. And so I wanted to just share just a few thoughts about why it's important. Education provides stability in life, and it's something that no one can take from us. And my dad would always tell us that when you are educated, no one can take that away from you. And so by being well educated and holding a degree, you increase your chances for a better life, better career opportunities, more doors being open, whether it's traditional education and sometimes non-traditional education. It's very important that we respect that and we have that as a goal to achieve. So I am excited because I have with me this evening an educator. And so I always like to have the subject matter experts at the table because I think that it is important. They come with great knowledge, experience that can be shared, not only today, but those who watch this broadcast in the future. And so we have Miss Courtney Gaines, who is joining me this evening. And she is a counselor, and I am going to allow her to come into the studio and she will introduce herself so you guys will get to know who she is. And she is going to be sharing some great nuggets this evening as it relates to education, what we can do as educators, what we can do as parents, what we can do as a community, what we can do as a district. So I'm excited. So if you all would please join me in welcoming Miss Courtney Gaines to the platform. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
Good. I am so grateful that you carved out some time to be here tonight as we begin the beginning of 2025-2026 school year.
Yeah.
We just had a New Year's celebration, I guess about a week or two ago. And so it's exciting to help our students prepare for a successful year. And so
It is.
I am excited to have you. So if you would kindly introduce yourself and don't hold back. You know, a lot of times people hold back and they're shy about telling people who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not about bragging. It is just who you are. And I would like for them to know graciously who we have the opportunity to hear from.
Well, thank you, Shenita. I appreciate it. I appreciate being here this evening. I am Courtney Gaines. I am a school counselor. I've been a school counselor for over 25 years. I think I've almost lost count, to be honest. But, 25 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. And this is, I believe, my 7th year in elementary school counseling, and I've done a good 20 years in middle school. So Yeah, about 27 years of education. Um, as I was sharing with Shenita before, I come from a family of educators. And it actually was a calling that I tried to dodge for a bit. I thought I was going to go into corporate America. I was going to be this great new writer, and do public relations or something else great, or lawyer. But I became a counselor of another sort. God had different plans for me, and I do appreciate it because I think that I needed this work more than I realized, or knew that I would need it when I was much younger, thinking about what I want to be and who I want to be in the future. I do love working with our children. They deserve our best always. And I am happy to be here this evening to share that information. I've worked in Metro Atlanta schools, and I've also worked in the state of Maryland. I did live and work in Maryland for 4 years. And sorry about that. And I have enjoyed it thoroughly, to the point that in 2011, I was Gwinnett County's public school, middle school counselor of the year. And thank you. And I also have served as elementary school counselor of the year for Atlanta Public Schools. So it has been rewarding work. I try to absolutely, again, like I said, give my best, and just keep going from there.
And when you say you try to give your best, you absolutely did, because it was recognized on both levels, middle school and elementary level.
Yes.
And that's amazing, because you're talking about a pool of a lot of educators.
Yes, it was. Both of them are huge honors. When I think about my career, those are definitely two things that stand out quite a bit for me.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
So tell the audience one thing that would surprise people to know about you, other than what you've already shared.
Okay. Well, during that little stint in Maryland, I was really in my creative era, like the kids like to say. And I used to do poetry. I used to write a lot of poetry, and I have done spoken word on the stage one time. A friend of mine got me to get on the stage one time.
One time?
One time.
I knew that you were going to say spoken word.
Did you?
I knew it. When you said DC stint, I said, I guarantee you she's going to say spoken word.
That was the place. That was it. Like, it was just during that time that I was there, it was such a magical time. It opened up a lot of creativity for me. Of course, being away from home and things like that, but just really in my adulthood, I was about to be 30. Like, it was just a really different time and space for me in my life. And it just was like a perfect storm. Me being there, tapping into my creativity, writing some really good stuff. And this guy was just like, "You're getting on stage." And I was like, "I don't want to do that." He tricked me into it. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. So, he's still a great writer. He still writes the best haikus and things. He's still doing the thing.
Is he still in the DC area?
DC area, yeah.
Wow. I remember when I had my summer program back in 2003, we would invite artists in every week, this poet, spoken word artist, to work with the kids. So it was called Camp Character. And so every week we had a different character trait that we focused on. And so we would bring in the spoken word artists, and they would come in and help the kids start thinking about it, in a poetic kind of way.
Yeah.
It was so rich for them.
Yes. I tell kids all the time, especially when I worked in middle school, that your raps, that's just poetry.
Yes.
So
that's it. So let's rap some positive beat, some positive.
Right, put some positive stuff on, then we're good.
Yes. I'm like, how did it turn?
How did it turn to something crazy? But
yes. So I want to my partner in crime on this talk show, my guest host, is having some technical issues tonight. However, he is going to join us via audio.
Okay.
So, Andrew.
Yes.
How are you?
You know what? Given the fact that the weather is doing some really interesting things, like knocking out all my power and internet and all that, I am doing all right. And I pray and trust that everyone that is on the call, from the quality panelists who are doing some great work in education and beyond, to your listeners, viewers, hope everyone's having a good day, good week, and really looking forward to setting a great tone for the upcoming school year.
Yes, absolutely. And I know education is at the heart of all that you do too. So would you like to kind of share a little bit about who you are? I know some people know who you are, but will you be generous and introduce yourself?
Well, I tell you, you're generous and give me the platform, even though I did go to the barber today, so I look good and feel good, but you can't see it, so you're just going to have to trust me. Let me share a little about my education background. So my name is Andrew Snorton, based here in Metro Atlanta. Part of my education background includes having, in a previous career, served faculty member in Gwinnett County Public Schools at primarily Pennyville Middle School with English, language arts, social studies, and other topics. Fast forwarding to today, under my business umbrella of Creative Community Solutions, one of the areas I work in is in educational services. So that ranges from traditional tutoring, virtual tutoring and coaching, that's for the ACT and SAT, which I'm proud to say I'm working with students right now who are planning on those exams in August and September. And I'll do some periodic workshops on those standardized tests with different high schools, nonprofits, and other related items. And hopefully today, you're not only learning more about what I do, but what all these outstanding people do professionally, community-wise, and otherwise to put our students in a position where they can be successful. So I'm really excited tonight's panel.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, test assessments are coming up. Did you say August and September?
Yeah.
Yes, so quickly with the SAT, and obviously after the pandemic, they've made some adjustments. So right now, some of the students I'm working with, not only in person, but virtually, are prepping for the first round of SATs, which will be August 23rd. And real quick, right now for the fall semester, just keep it simple, the fall semester of 2025, SAT dates are going to be August 23rd. There will be a date in September, which traditionally that they did not do, but they're doing September, October, November, and December. So if anyone out there has a youngster who's thinking about college or all that type of stuff, go ahead and jump on that type of thing as soon as possible. And then the ACTs ramp up the weekend after Labor Day weekend. So that'll be the first Saturday of September, October, and then December. So there's a lot of things coming up. As all the fellow educators and advocates for education are going to dive into.
That's awesome. I was mentioning to Courtney earlier about my summer program, and we used to introduce the PSAT through the Kaplan Center back in 2003, 4, and 5 to our middle school students. And I think it's time for me to do a little bit more in the community in which I live. So Andrew, you know, we've been kind of talking about that. We need to really partner up with like some companies to provide that, you know, opportunity for them to practice and to prepare for the test.
Well, it pivots back to the great work that any of the people you have that are on, who are guidance counselors, who are in the classroom. It all starts with building those foundational skills. Even in a technology-driven era, you still have to have a solid command of those foundational skills. Your core subject, interpersonal skills are huge. And how do you apply those? So again, your guidance personnel, your advisors, those are the people that you definitely want to have a relationship with in regards to what am I doing in the classroom and how can I apply it? And then folks like myself who are on that testing end, especially with how the current landscape is so, and how probably going to scrutinize those numbers a little bit more. The simple say, if you don't remember anything else, early and often, whether it's communicating person and what have you, early and often is going to be the key.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. So, Courtney.
Yes.
as we prepare for this upcoming year, what are some things that you have seen in the past that you would like to bring to the attention of not only the parents but the educators that
So, yes,
is important?
important. I think the most important thing is something like we talked about earlier, was that this is a partnership. I think educators and parents need to know that first and foremost. This is a partnership. We are Team Your Child. We are here together for the sole purpose of making sure your child is successful academically so that they can't have any doors open to them, whether it's a college degree, whether it's going into the military, or now entrepreneurship and going straight to work has become a big thing in our discussions on the district levels, and talking about college and career readiness, because we know that college is not for all of our scholars. However, we want to make sure that you do have a plan once you graduate from our high schools, and we want you to graduate on time, that you have a plan on what your next step is going to be, because we're all about raising and helping you to become a productive citizen and contributor of society. Um, I tease my kids all the time and say, you know what, Miss Gaines is gonna get old, she gotta retire. Who's gonna take my place? Are you gonna be ready to take my place? Because somebody has to do it. Or are you gonna be my doctor when I get, as you get older, those kind of things, to kind of start getting them to think that I'm not gonna be young all the time. This is just, time goes by quickly, and I need to be ready for what's gonna be next. Not to have time go by so fast, because of course we don't want them to grow up so quickly, but
But they are.
Yes, they do. They do. Time goes by very quickly. When my youngest niece reached high school, and my oldest niece, when they reached high school, it was over. Like, those 4 years went by so quickly. And my oldest niece's 4 years in college went by very quickly. So it just does. So we have to take those precious moments to constantly clock in and check in with our kids on what and who they want to be, and help them reach that. I'm not here to write it for you. You tell me what you need and want so that I can help you get there.
Absolutely. I love that. My 14-year-old granddaughter is talking about civil engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been trying to connect her with engineers so that she can actually meet and talk with them and see, what they have to say about the career choice that they made, and what they anticipate in the future with that particular career. And to see if that's something, she really wants to do. Like, you've been saying it for several years now.
Yes.
So even when my oldest, who is 42, I remember when she wanted to go into the medical field, I signed her up in Pensacola at the junior college for like a medical camp.
Right.
And she's in the medical field today.
Good.
And so I've always, whenever they said they wanted to do something, my son said he wanted to go into veterinarian. I connected him with a, African-American veterinarian place here in Clayton County, and he worked with them during the summer. So I was always that parent who paired them, believing, if that's what you say you want to do, let's test it out and see if it really is what you want to do. Because if it isn't, we need to look at some other options.
Exactly. And the biggest part of that is exposure. So what you've done for them, you gave them one of the greatest gifts that you could give to help support their education. Exposure is about education. And I think that we don't provide those kind of opportunities as much as we have done before. So it's going to be very important for parents to take the extra step, just like you have, in showing their children, okay, well, this is it, expose them to it. This is what you say you want to do, but let's really take a look at it. And we, I do that as well in my capacity in the school. I have a lot of my boys that want to be professional sports and athletes. And in middle school level, I made them run the stats. Okay. How many of them, how many of the athletes are looked at and definitely go pro from the college level? What do you need to do to be able to even get to those particular colleges that you will get that exposure from? How many are then drafted? in the NBA or NFL or whatever, you know, you want to do, and how many are on that team, how many get cut. Just
Yep.
because, you know, they don't get it at the NFL. Yes, you might get drafted, but who's to say you're going to stay on that team? They will cut you. So then what happens? What's next? So, you know, they would get upset with me when we have those discussions, but it's a real life kind of thing. And I'm like, you got to understand what you're working with. So, um, yeah, those discussions are very important. So exposure is number one key to education to me.
And you know, when you were saying that, it's almost like the parents have to be involved in that process too. When their children say, I want to go pro, or the parents are pushing them to go pro, we need to have the conversation about what if you don't go pro? What if you do and you get cut? What does that look like? How does it impact your future? What can you be doing to have a filler or something to fall back on? Those kinds of things, you know?
Exactly. And I even talked to them about their pay. I'm like, yes, you're getting this great paycheck, but you're only getting it when it's the season time. And they're like, what? I'm like, you only get paid during the season when you're working. So when you're off season, how are you making income for your family? You just can't, you know, have this money and wild out, you know, because that's what they're thinking they're going to do. But I'm like, you have to be responsible. But yes, you're right. The parents also need to understand what it's going to take for them to be able to get there as well.
Absolutely. I love it. Andrew, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad Courtney spoke to that because on the press and media end, I'm credentialed to cover college football. So I have, since 2019, covered where I went to college, Wake Forest University. And there are a few of those folks who I've covered who are in the NFL, who are seeing NFL action. Courtney's right on target. The funny thing is NFL stands not for long because when people average NFL career is like 3 years. So to Courtney's point, first off, it's not a guarantee on the high school level you're even going to get recruited on the college level because of the way the landscape has changed, where with the transfer portal, coaches are looking for student athletes who already have experience. Then that's not even factoring in JUCO. And then for those students who actually graduate high school early. So there's a lot of variables that Courtney's pointed out that students who are thinking about pursuing athletics have to be aware of. And then, like Courtney said, even if you get drafted, just because you get drafted doesn't mean they're going to keep you. And then you've also got to account for the undrafted free agents who are signed. So you have to make sure that academics and your development in identifying what do you have an interest in, how can that interest lead into a career, whether it's traditional or contemporary, you have to be on top of those things. And as a side note, I mean, there's NFL scouts who call me on different people. And one thing that I'm sure Courtney and others will speak of, what is your character? What is your work ethic like? How well do you relate and work independently as well as collaboratively? So all these little things really come into play. Just like Courtney was saying, one key component of the bigger wheel of accountability is that parental or guardian engagement. It is so critical and so important. So I'm glad she spoke to that, and I hope others will continue to speak to that as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, so important. Now, I'm glad you brought up the character piece as well, Andrew, because that is something I believe that a lot of our scholars are struggling with as of late. Really, honestly, no matter the background that you have, no matter, you know, where you're coming from, skin color, otherwise, or socioeconomic level, our kids are struggling with their character and knowing how to communicate with others and how to work well with others. It's just something that we're seeing in the schools and that I'm constantly working with students with. That's primarily why I left middle school to go to elementary, because I said I wanted to try to influence them a little bit earlier on before they get to the middle school level so that they're better prepared. They just need some different things in place. Right. So making sure that we're forcing our kids to speak up clearly, shake hands, give eye contact. I know that's uncomfortable for them, but if we practice these small things, it will be what makes them stand out. And being accountable to their actions and their work, following through and keeping their word, just different things like that that we grew up on. I hate to say it, but because it makes
No,
me feel
it's true.
old, but it's true. I mean, yeah, our parents made us do a lot of different things, not only to build up our confidence and independence, but to help build our character.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about as a young girl in church, my parents, we were very active in church, and my dad used to say, I want you to be the secretary of the Sunday school. And I was like, of course, before then we had speeches in church, right? And you were like, do we really have to do this? But all of that prepared me for today.
Yes.
And so when we think about it, yes, it is important to make sure, like you said, that there's eye contact with whomever, there's a firm handshake, you're able to articulate your feelings, your thoughts, manage your emotions.
Yes.
That is a struggle that I'm having with my 14-year-old granddaughter right now. And so we're trying to get her to understand you have to manage your emotions. It is okay not to be okay, but it is not okay to be mean and ugly when you're not okay.
Exactly.
So you've got to figure out how to express yourself in a way that you want it to be productive. You want to get a great outcome.
Yes. So that's the biggest piece we're working with I call them my littles. Self-regulation. The first thing we start out with is naming the emotion. So I actually go through exercises constantly of helping them to name the feeling and emotion so that we can have an understanding of what it is you are feeling. So then we'll know what we need to help you with. But definitely that's a huge part. That self-regulation is humongous.
Parents might need to be in a class. We might need to be in a class to learn how to convey that to them, because when they act up, I told my daughters and my coworkers today, I said, I'm too old to go to jail.
Yeah.
And so, they can take you there. And so there's no way that I want to be sitting in jail thinking like, now, why did I whack her across the head?
I know.
So I have to really manage my emotions when I'm dealing with her, because the first thing you're looking at is like, you weren't raised like that. Where did that come from? What? And so I have to manage my emotions, dealing with her and her emotions.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece. We have to model it for them. We do, because they don't know. So you have to regulate yourself first. Then we can help her. But you have to also remember that their behavior is the symptom. So you know how we have a cold. How do we know we have a cold? Because we're coughing, right?
Yes.
So coughing is similar to the behavior that you're seeing. It's a symptom of something else that's going on. She does not have the vocabulary to express it, unfortunately.
Exactly.
And honestly, they first initially said in human development that the brain is fully functional and rational and logical by the age of 25, right? We're saying now, no, that's not the case. It is 27.
It's closer to 30.
Closer to 30, right? So a lot of times we're thinking with our rational, fully developed brains that you should be acting this way, or you should be. I don't understand why you're not doing it like that. Well, she doesn't have the capacity.
You're right. And then we look at them and they're big, and we're like,
I know. They're still babies and big bodies.
Right. And so we definitely, I so appreciate my oldest daughter, who oftentimes we collaborate together on the challenges of the 14-year-old. And I'm grateful because she will definitely help mom remember. Mom, remember. And one of the other things and tips for parents, like you said, modeling. Yes. I think we have to remember that, not only as it relates to education, but also other things.
Everything. They're watching everything.
And unfortunately, they're watching it socially, right? So it may not even be in the home, because my husband passed away 10 years ago. And so my granddaughter hasn't seen men sleeping in my bed since my husband. And she's seen me interact with men appropriately, but never inappropriately, because I just don't want that image of me in her head or as an example, right? So I'm very cautious of that behavior. So I think that we have to remind our parents to be conscious of what we model.
Yes, you have to. and you were just speaking to what she sees. So of course we live in a technology and screen heavy generation in society. I am one person that is happy that there is now a state law for cell phone bans in school during school time, because they need to be focused on the teacher
I'm so
and
glad.
what is being taught.
Mhm.
But we also, even through high school, you still should do a level of monitoring what your child is consuming on a daily basis. A lot of things that they're seeing and they're modeling is very detrimental to not only their physical health, because they see some things that they might try, and it's also detrimental to their emotional and mental well-being.
Mhm.
So it's just a lot that and I know it's a lot for parents. I get it. I
Yes,
do.
yes.
But
And
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead,
it's
finish
us
that
too.
thought.
Yeah, for us too. But it will all pay off in the end. Because again,
Mhm.
like I said, we are trying to raise, students and children that are sound and productive contributors to society.
Right, absolutely.
Hmm.
We talked about earlier the partnership between the school, the
Hmm.
parents, and the child. And
Hmm.
so I was sharing with you, I'll let school begin and let a few days pass, and then I
Hmm.
will email all of the teachers together in a group email introducing myself, and I'll say, you've had an opportunity to meet Madison, you've had an opportunity to see her in action.
Hmm.
I want to share my perspective. I want to share that, I want to partner with you all so that we can help her be the best student and individual she can be.
Yeah.
And so I need them to know I want to work with you.
And that's great. That is
And that's
so great.
every year since she started school, every year.
Mhm.
Even when my kids were small, I was part of PTA,
Yes.
PTO.
Yes.
I was just engaged. And
Hmm.
so I just want to encourage parents who may watch this broadcast today or tomorrow or next year to make sure that you are partnering with the educators, with the school.
Yep.
It's a partnership
It's a
because,
partnership.
yeah, everybody wants their children to be successful, I hope.
Hmm.
We talked about there's a small population of those who really don't care
Yeah.
that their children become successful because mentally they may not have been successful, so they don't have the capacity to even
Think far.
desire or think that,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but yes, I agree. And um, in that partnership, I also would like parents to understand that we are experts at this. We do know what we're talking about. We do know um, how children are, especially in school. We know how academics works in education. So if we share with you that your child is having an academic struggle of some type, and to help us look into it further, please partner with us on that. Do not fight us. It is not a pride thing. It is not about you. It has nothing to do with the way you have raised your child or your parenting style. It's
Mhm,
none of that.
mhm,
If your child is struggling, especially when they're early on in elementary, if they're struggling and they need special education support, so exceptional education support, let them have it. Let them do it. Let us put it in place, because if the earlier on we do it, the quicker they can get what they need and become stronger and stronger, and they exit out the program.
right.
That's it. But we have a lot of times we have parents that unfortunately kind of fight us on that, or may not show up timely to meetings, and we can't move forward without them.
Mhm,
So, like I said, the quicker we're able to get things in place, the better off your child will progress and be. And if you see something different in your child, if you're like, well, I'm noticing that in their class that Timmy knows how to do X, Y, and Z, but my child is only getting X and Y, and
mhm,
we've gone over Z quite a few times and they're still not getting it.
mhm,
What can
mhm,
we do? Miss
mhm.
Gaines, you're the counselor. Please help me. What's my next step of what I need to do and take? And then we can go from there, because you also are the expert on your child. I'm going to listen to you. You born, you raised this child. You know who he or she is. So I'm going to listen to you and your concern. But we have to partner in this together.
Have to work together. We
Gotta
have to work together. And if you know that your child is a challenge, don't go in and act as if they are not.
I know.
You know, sometimes we have to say, yes, use the word challenge. He or he is a challenge, and we are working to work through those challenges.
Right. You
know, we're not in denial. And like you said, we're partnering to help them become successful.
Absolutely. So, Shenita, I had a little acronym backpack to kind of just talk about a couple of things of what we can all remember as we go into the school year. Now, of course, the first one we've talked about, B is be a team. So we talked about a team. Everybody is on team for that child and in place. And A is for activate communication, which we shared a lot about as well. Talk with your kid about their goals, what they're worried about, because sometimes kids have some worries and anxiety about going to school. It is valid. Don't say, oh, you don't have nothing to worry about. A lot of times people think that children have no need to be worried. What are you depressed about? What you worried about? They have a lot to be worried about.
They do.
They have feelings. They have thoughts. They have concerns. So listen to them. But also communicate that with them. Communicate often with the educators in your children's life, like we said before. And when I say educators, everybody, whether it's, the bus driver, whether it's the teacher, whether, it's the counselor, whoever, the assistant principal, the principal, communicate with them often. I enjoy receiving positive communication from parents.
Yes.
Or something I can help them with. C is create a dedicated workspace for homework and studying. But also get back to those daily routines, create a daily routine. If you don't already have one in place, that is important. Children actually love structure.
Yes.
They love structure. They know how to kind of operate better in a box, and you're telling them what their routine is. So get back to a routine or create a new one if you need to, especially bedtime. Oof.
Yes. That is so important. And not only bedtime, but think about the phone.
Yes, right.
Phone away during homework time and at night, an hour after school or whatever that time is. After that, the phone goes into a pot in the parents' room.
Yeah, exactly.
We already know that their self-control in most children does not exist, right?
Yes, right.
So if we leave it with them, they're going to be on it.
Yeah, listen, my littles are very honest all the time. Baby, why are you sleeping? I stayed up late. What were you doing? Like, I was on TikTok. I was playing a game. They're on some device somewhere.
Yep.
And their parents are thinking they're asleep and they're not. So you need to take the phone, plug it up in your room.
Yes, I think it was 2017, maybe even 16. I was doing holiday work in Marietta. And I was staying with some friends, and their children were in school, and they were teens, preteens, teens. And that was the rule. Here is the bucket in mom and dad's room.
Yeah.
And this is the time that you have to bring the phone and put it in the bucket in our room.
In our room.
Yes. Exactly. And that was order.
Yes.
And so I think parents, we need to give them the it's okay to take the devices.
It is.
And it's okay for the kids not to like you sometimes. Because they don't. They're not.
I mean, we all go through that phase. It's okay. Honestly. It's okay. Really. Yeah, you're right. You're so right. Parents, you have permission to take the phone that you own.
Or turn off the service.
Yeah.
There's some controls that you can put in place too.
Yes, there are a lot of controls you can put in place. Going back to what I was sharing earlier about monitoring their screen time and what they're consuming. Put in place some things. I know a lot of the really popular apps now have parental controls. Please research them. Please put them in place. Also, especially with our preteens and teens, be very cognizant of the apps that are on your child's phone. A lot of them hide some other different apps that they try to communicate with different people with. Atlanta is one of the central hubs for human and sex trafficking.
Yep.
So we've got to pay attention to who they're talking to, who they're interacting with. And it's okay. You have permission, parents, to question them.
That's
It's
right.
important for you to know who their friends are, who they're around, who they're hanging out with, because you do not want to see your child disappear one day, because it's
Right.
happening. It's
It's happening
happening.
a lot.
It does. It breaks my heart every time I come across a post that, someone is missing, some child is missing. And we know that unfortunately, Black children are not always shared on the news
Nope.
widely about them missing.
They're
So
not.
we've got to do some things that we, can do at home and put in place. And like you said, you just gonna have to not like me. Because
Yeah.
again, my mom never made 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 the lines invisible between her being a mom and a friend. My
Mhm.
mother didn't become my friend till I was a very much grown adult.
Right. Right.
She's
I'm not your friend, and it's okay for you not
It's
to be okay
okay.
with my decisions.
Right. It's
I'm,
okay.
I'm your parent for a reason.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So
You're not mine.
yes,
And so, can we talk a little bit about mental health?
yes,
I
absolutely.
think that, that piece sometimes is not addressed in our
Mhm.
community.
Mm-hmm.
The adults, never mind the children.
Yeah.
So, can we just talk a little bit about mental health?
I have most of my career as a school counselor been ringing the bell of alarm about the mental health of our kids. And now because of, we had the pandemic and now the kids are really, no, the kids have been struggling mentally and emotionally. And honestly, it's because a lot of times the adults in their lives don't take a moment to listen and tune into them and say, hey, are you okay? And then wait for a response. And give them a nest egg of where they feel safe to divulge information to you and say, you know what, mommy, no, I'm not okay, because I was friends with this one girl and now they're treating me like this and things like that. And all you're going to see is the anger,
Mhm.
because that's her.
Mhm.
But the mental health piece is strong. Our kids are suffering greatly from worry, from anxiety, from depression. And again, like I shared before, a lot of times adults are like, you don't have anything to be depressed about. They are. They're depressed.
Mhm.
If you really tap in and notice, if we're feeling heavy about the things, the way things are in the world,
Mm.
and our kids are also hearing these things and seeing us struggle or go through some things, it affects them as well. So they're struggling, and then it affects their education. They cannot focus in class. They don't want to come to school. If there are days where they don't want to get out of bed, or they are not wanting to do some of the same things they've done before, or even changed up their friendship group. See, that's another subtle kind of thing. But if you're tapped in and knowing who your kids' friends are, but now these are some new folks coming around and they don't seem like the type that you normally would want your child to be around, then something is going on. And in our community, I need us to be okay with getting therapy,
That's
not
right.
only for ourselves, but for our children. If your child says, you know what, I want to see someone and talk to somebody about what's going on with me, let them.
That's right. I'm
It's
pro therapy.
I am, of course, I'm pro therapy. I mean, I was pro therapy before I even became a school counselor, but
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
definitely pro therapy. I have a lot of kids that just really, especially when I was in middle school, that would come and check in and touch base with me, talk to me. And of course, I could not provide therapy work for them because that goes against our ethics as a school counselor. But I definitely was wanting to be a trusted adult for them and at least listen. And we would then also have conversations about, okay, how can we approach your parent about you getting some therapy and some help because you need it? And, we go through that, we role play it and all this kind of stuff. I tell them and offer to them, I can call your parent in and we can have a discussion with them. You can be there, or I can do it just me, and let them know what's going on with you and what you need. But it is okay for your child to receive help. They're not there to share the family secrets.
That's
They
right.
do not care what you are necessarily doing in your home. I mean, they do, but as far as any other activities, as long as it is not harming their client,
Right.
then they do not have to report it.
That's right. And
But
I want to encourage the parents
mhm,
to please take this conversation very seriously
mhm,
as it relates to, mental health,
mhm.
all the nuggets that you've shared, because they're vitally important,
Yeah,
academically and personally.
yeah, that
Socially,
therapy is the best tool in your toolbox, one of the best.
as absolutely it is. And
Mhm.
we all remember what it was like being conflicted as teens, right?
My God, yes.
So I
Confusing.
have to I have to sometimes remind myself with the 14-year-old, like, you had some conflicted thoughts
Hmm.
when you were 14 and didn't come together until you were much older.
Yep. Yep.
So allow them to have that. And my oldest daughter is really good at challenging me to remember that when I
Mhm.
sometimes slip up, right?
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
to have people in your circle that can bring you back around.
Yes. So that's another tool in your toolbox, village. We
Mm-hmm.
got to get back
Mm-hmm.
to the village capacity,
Absolutely.
because you need that sounding board to remind you of these kind of things and to give you a safe space to kind of
Right.
just say, you know what, this is what we're going through. Because a lot of times, we as adults are shameful to share with others what we're going through with our kids. And
Mm-hmm.
someone else can probably help you or give you a resource or be
Mm-hmm.
able to help you see a different perspective to it because they're
Absolutely.
not in it on a daily basis like you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key piece about therapy is a third party that is not on any side
Mm-hmm.
who's there to help you all work through the challenges.
Yes.
When you get to a point you're ready to pull your hair out, that's past time for therapy. However, in order
Yes.
to not get there, therapy works.
That
But
it
the
does.
caveat is therapy is only going to work if you're willing to do the work.
Right.
So if a child is given the task of trying to change a habit or build new habits, you got to give them the capacity to do that and to try it out with you. And if they get it wrong the first time, you don't say, see, you got it wrong. You don't need to even do that stuff. No, you got to give them time
Right.
and time and time again to keep trying and to build that perseverance so that they will get it. And
Right.
then therapy will work.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. This has been a wonderful conversation.
You.
Great nuggets, and I'm gonna share the broadcast until I get tired of sharing it.
Great.
Because those who didn't see it live, they need to see it in the replay.
Yes.
And so, do you want to share some parting words about education before we chime in about the jazz concert?
Yes. Education is the key to all doors opening. Locks come loose to any door a child wants to walk through. Again, like I said, it may not be college or traditional schooling, but it could be the military, it could be entrepreneurship, it could be a job. But them just having a more positive outcome in their futures, the key is education. Help support them, be a part of it, partner with us. We're not the big bad boogeyman of education. Partner with us to help you and to help your child. And I wish everyone an amazing school year.
Yes. And please share. I know it's been scrolling your information because I
Yes,
want them to be able to, reach out to you if they would like.
sure.
So,
So I do a little life coaching sometimes. So this is my Instagram account where you can reach me and kind of see some things. It's Purpose Coach G, because I work with gaining purpose with Coach G. So there's it. You can
I
reach me
love it.
there. DM me. I'm always in my DMs.
Instagram,
Yeah.
Purpose Coach G.
Mhm.
I love that.
Thank you,
And so,
Shenita.
yes. So, with that being said, I know Andrew is still with us, and
Mhm.
Andrew is pro education as well. So, Andrew, would you like to share some parting words as we conclude the educational piece before we kind of talk about the jazz concert?
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. If people haven't taken away some of the great nuggets that have been shared, to keep it simple, it's not just their job, it's our job. Let me run that back one more time. It's not just their job, it's our job. And when you understand it's our job, a lot of the components that you've heard today, the parental or guardian engagement, these type of communication pieces, being able to work collaboratively with your partners in education, the external pieces that I shared at the beginning in regards to your tutoring, coaching, all those types of things. You're not going to be aware of the resources that you have access to if you do not raise the question. Just like Courtney was saying, if you're aware of a challenge or hurdle or whatever you want to call it that your scholar is dealing with, you're not going to get the help if you speak up and speak out. Do so on a consistent basis. The professionals know what they know, but there's some things they're not aware of. And that's where you as a parent or guardian who are aware can help in this collaborative piece. Far too often, again, a lot of stuff is put at the feet of the professionals. But just like when you go to a restaurant, you just don't rely on, the waiter or waitress or what have you. You also rely on your previous experience, of course, or your palate, all those types of things. Mm-hmm. So again, if people don't remember the details that have been shared, it's not just their job, it is our job. Mm-hmm. And we are doing our job. We are going to put ourselves in the position to get the outcomes that we desire. Mm-hmm. And the outcomes put our youngsters, elementary, middle, and high school, in a position, if they're not there, if they're not in the house, we have them knocking at the door. Mm-hmm. And as long as we can get them knocking at the door, they're going to be equipped enough to go ahead and get in the building.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well said. Well said. And please be polite when you are talking with the educators and the teachers.
Yeah.
You can get much more with honey.
Yes.
So be polite and kind. You still can advocate for your children in a firm way, but you don't have to be rude and nasty.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we have some exciting information to share. I know we've been sharing this wonderful jazz concert. Andrew, I'm going to actually put up our flyer. I'm so excited about year 3. Would you like to chime in as our PR guy?
Yeah, sure. So for people that are not aware of An Elegant Evening of Jazz, this is the creative piece coming from the good Dr. Shenita. And it stems from initially a love for jazz and the genre, but doing it a step further with doing things at Clayton State University at Spivey Hall, which is a wonderful venue in regards to any type of concert. It's a large yet intimate setting. You're getting top-notch jazz artists, but on top of that, not only the networking components that happen for those who are in the business community at any levels, but with a portion of the proceeds earmarked to help support our performing arts programs, specifically for Clayton County high schools. It is a tremendous experience. It's great to have been on board since year 1, looking forward to year 3. If you're looking for a quality night out where you can get dressed up and just go ahead and just immerse yourself in the experience, we definitely encourage you to be a part of it. If you cannot be there directly, then be there indirectly and share, repost, all that, and then some. We do that type of stuff for things that are kind of controversial. Let's do that type of thing and some for things that are of high quality and of a genuine and giving spirit.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. Each year I get to highlight a school, as you mentioned. This year it's Morrow High School Jazz Band, and I'm excited that they will be playing in the lobby as people arrive and get to showcase what they've learned. And then we also have, an opportunity for them to enjoy the concert afterwards so that they can sit back and say, wow, this is a great experience for them too. And then we present the donation check to their band director. And so it's just a really wonderful night, as you said, and it's a way to, honor my deceased husband, who him and I love jazz, and he was a long-term educator with the Clayton County Public School. And I think he would be proud to see the work that I have been doing in the community, not only to support the widows and widowers that I support on this journey, but also the future leaders as well. So we want to encourage everyone to go over to spiveyhall.org's website, and you can purchase tickets there. If you are a VIP ticket holder, it allows you to be a part of a pre-concert reception that starts at 3 p.m. And we're coming in on the red carpet as we do every year. And so the concert starts at 5, but again, the VIP experience starts at 3, and the general doors open at 4 for everyone else. So we would love for you to be a part of that experience on October the 5th. For year 3, we have some incredible artists. We have Robin Lattimore, who is an amazing vocalist, Lyrical Holmes, who is a harpist, and our headliner, Antoine Knight, on the saxophone. And of course, Morris Baxter from WCLK, the morning show personality, is our host each year. The phenomenal Al Smith is our musical director. And I couldn't be more proud to have, the continued support from these individuals each year. So please get your tickets at spiveyhall.org. And I want to thank you again, Courtney, for being a part of this conversation about education, because it goes hand in hand with jazz, because they had to be educated about jazz, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to combine both the educational piece as we begin the school year, tips and nuggets, and to share this amazing concert all together in one. So thank you so much. Andrew, any closing remarks before we allow Courtney to share anything that she would like to share?
Well, of course, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Hopefully for everybody, students, parents, guardians, educational advocates. Hopefully you're jotting down a couple of notes, or if not, you can always replay this and run this back. Again, like I said earlier, it's not just their job, it's our job. And when you understand it's our job, a lot of these collaborative pieces, the partnerships, all these types of things make a lot more sense, and they hit home a little bit differently. So please make sure to rewatch, like, share, repost. And again, to repeat it, it's not just their job, it's our job.
Yes, it takes a village.
It does.
And Courtney?
Yes, ma'am.
True.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening, Shenita. I am excited about the school year. If there was anything that I shared that the parents or guardians out there, or anyone that just really has a love for a kid who's preparing for a school year, and it's something that you want to talk more to me about, please just reach out to me on Instagram. I will more than be glad to continue the conversation and to help support any kind of way I can. But I do appreciate this opportunity, because I think it's just really important for all voices to be shared in the world of education to get kids ready for an amazing year.
Yes. Thank you. I so appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And to our guests, audience, whether you're watching it tonight live or at a later time, we thank you for pausing to engage in this conversation that's so important. It's so relative. And we hope that you will share it, because there were so many nuggets shared tonight that I know it will bless someone. So with that being said, thank you. We wish you all an amazing evening. And remember, I love you, but God loves you most, and He loves you best. Take care.